All right, time for some tough love. If you've been in the crypto market for a while and you constantly find yourself underperforming, the truth is it's probably not entirely the market's fault. It's yours. And it comes down to a simple concept that many people overlook, and that's building an actual edge in the market that can consistently make you profits over time. Today, I'll show you what building an edge actually means, and I'm going to show you the common mistakes people make in crypto and how to fix every single one of them, so you walk away from this video with the exact playbook to make profits in the crypto market. If you like these kind of mental frameworks and strategy breakdowns, make sure to follow my new channel, Crypto Edge, using the link in the description. That's where I share more evergreen educational content in a more concise format. Then over here on the main channel, this is where I give you regular market updates, so you're constantly in the know. Now let's get into things. Firstly, we need to identify the problem. Most people are playing the game wrong. They're trying to constantly chase the new shiny coins, they're over-rotating their portfolios, and they're hopping from trend to trend, hoping to make money, essentially blindly. If you're just reacting to price movements and reacting to new trends without an actual system behind it, it's no wonder you're losing money in the market, because you're essentially rigging the game against yourself. Instead, you need to act with an actual predetermined plan. The reality is, without an actual edge, you're simply just gambling. And hope is not a strategy that's going to consistently make you profits in this market. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is to come up with a system that enables you to have positive expected value plus EV on every single trade that you're taking. This is otherwise known as an edge. Today, I'm going to give you 5 things that you can do to build an edge. I'll identify the mistake for each of these 5 things, and then I will identify how to fix it. And if you can implement all of these, you're going to be ahead of 99% of people in the market, because honestly, most people I see on X, on YouTube, and Telegram, they just aren't doing these things. And these are the things that have separated myself and other successful traders that I know from the rest of the pack. The first thing that you need to do is you need to allocate a dedicated time to spotting crypto alpha. In the market and in life, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. This is a quote that I love from James Clear, because the reality is building an edge in crypto is all about your system. So in this case, you need to be allocating actual time each day. Pick a time, doesn't even need to be each day, it could actually be each week, but obviously the more the better, where you sit down and you consistently go through a checklist that's making you aware of the market. For example, and I've already done a video on this, but I'm gonna do an updated version very soon. I'll leave the existing one in the description below. I have a morning routine where I go through my TradingView watch list, I look at relative strength, I go through my X feed, I create content, which helps me come up with ideas and actually get my research down on paper. And after this process, which is about, for me, 1 to 2 hours every morning, but you could do a condensed version for, let's say, 15-20 minutes, I've not only spotted and identified alpha and trends, but I also just feel like I'm in the know. And crypto is all about just staying in the know and being aware of what's going on, because you never know when an opportunity is going to come around the corner. So you need to allocate time each day to going through Telegram, going through your X feed, and going through Discord. I've created a Discord community, the Mars High Club, which basically does all of this for you, because we condense all of the best information from X. We have a dedicated curated feed. We condense all the best information from other Telegram groups, because our analysts post the alpha directly in their channels. And we've developed a hub so people don't need to hop between website to website to website to find alpha. All the alpha is in one place. So if you do have the luxury of joining that community, I think it's going to level up your morning process significantly, because what I do and what our members do is they just go through the Discord each day, and you're already in a very good position to attack the day and understanding what's going on and what the best opportunities are when it's all curated for you. If you're not in a position to join the Discord, then you can still do this manually through selecting certain resources that you repeat every single day in order to get the right information. I'll leave a link in the description below for anyone that is interested in checking out the Mars High Club. Number 2 is using AI to speed up your research. The mistake that a lot of people make is they aren't utilizing the new tools in order to speed up their efficiency, because the tools that we have available now just weren't available a few years ago. And the smart traders, they are cutting down their research time when it comes to researching white papers, researching tokenomics, curating news. All of this stuff is now possible with Grok, with ChatGPT, which can actually help you structure your research, with Gemini, which can help you create YouTube summaries, using Glass, where you can get transcripts. Your ability to automate and speed up your research process is now greater than ever. And if you're not utilizing the new tools at your disposal, you're simply falling behind the people that are doing this every single day. Now, I actually have a channel called AI Edge where I go through AI productivity in a little bit more depth, but But for crypto specifically, give you a tip in today's video, learn to leverage Grok, because a lot of the most real-time relevant information for crypto is on X. And I think Gemini is another great one for YouTube, because I'm a big consumer of YouTube content. So I'll take a podcast, I'll get the transcript on Clasp, even the free subscription can give you a certain amount of transcripts, then I'll put it through Gemini and I'll get really nice summaries for myself. And you can even go a step further and do automations where those summaries are posted into Notion and all this sort of stuff. But just as a base level, just start using AI, start pushing the boundaries, and start seeing what's possible with crypto research. Number 3, if you're going to make all of this work, you need to be organized. And the biggest mistake I see people making is that they just aren't organized at all. They don't have a system that they follow every day. They, go onto X and they scroll a little bit and then they check their coins and then they're all over the place. So not only should you develop a routine, but you should also make it easy for yourself, lower the friction, and just have a checklist. Like, go onto Notion, develop a checklist. You can even do this on Apple Notes, whatever you use Google to do, and create a checklist that you just tick off the boxes each day. So I actually have my own system where I call it my daily non-negotiables. So I have a crypto research non-negotiable list that I tick off every morning. I have an X research and content creation list that I check off each morning. And then I move on to more business focused stuff later in the afternoon. So I front load my day with crypto research and then I backload it with business. If you have a job or you're studying, that's okay too. You're just using your spare time to check off whatever's in your checklist, and you can be reasonable about the amount of time you have. If you only have 20 minutes a day, that's fine. You just spread your tasks over the week and deal with a bit more of a manageable daily checklist, and then save a lot of your deeper research for later. But it's all about being organized, because if you spot a project and you want to research it further, you need some sort of input capturing device. And I think Notion's, a good place to do this. You could even use ChatGPT for this if you really want, but it's harder to visualize on ChatGPT. Let's say you find a project in one of these morning 20-minute research sessions. Well, you might want to dive deeper on the weekend, but if you just forget about it and you write it down on a piece of paper somewhere and it gets lost, it's useless. So you need to be very organized with, okay, I spotted this outlier, I spotted this coin. Let me actually write this down and keep it all in one place. And then you can just go bang, 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 bang on the weekend and tick off all your research. And by having organization across the board, your TradingView watch lists, your CoinGecko watch lists, you're going to just be so much better than the average person, because most people, they're just scrolling through the CoinGecko homepage or searching the coins that they own. If you have TradingView organized into these are the outperformers, these are the coins that I'm not entered in, but I'm looking to enter, and then another folder for the coins that I'm currently entered in, well, very unlikely you're going to miss a validation on an entry, an invalidation on a trade, or any big technical movement in the market, because you're going to be on top of that. Something we also do in Miles High Club is we've actually created our own custom spaghetti charts to track outperformers in certain sectors, so we can see at all times the coins that are outperforming. I know other websites like Velo have this, but we go through and we manually curate this regularly to make sure that you have the AI coins that are actually relevant, whereas a lot of these other websites, they just track coins that simply aren't relevant for trading opportunities. So you need to be aware of the outperformers if you're going to outperform, and you need to be aware of what your coins are doing if you want to manage those coins. And that's why it all comes down to organization. Leading on from organization, number 4, you need to set clear trading rules. This is a mistake that I see so many people making. They enter a coin, they don't have an invalidation for the coin, they don't have a predetermined stop loss, they don't have a predetermined take profit zone. You need to have rules for entry. So some examples of some rules you can have. Each position can't go over 5% of my portfolio. At the very max, if it's super high conviction, you can set a max top out at 10%. Even if I'm really bullish on a coin fundamentally, often I will still set a technical or a price level where I at least invalidate a portion, because I can always get back in if it shows strength again. But what I don't want to do is round trip my entire position just because I like the fundamentals, because momentum and price action in crypto is so important to making money. So always have a clear set of rules that you develop. And you can also do this on Notion, right? Just have a checklist. You can even do it in Google Sheets, have all your projects and then have a checklist and actually note down the exact entry and exit requirements for those coins. It's a very small change, but something you can do really quickly to make the risk reward on your trades so much better. Another tip is actually put time horizon on your trades, because a lot of people, they view, for example, an investment as this indefinite thing, but the reality is every investment is actually a trade. So I hold Bitcoin, I'm bullish on it over 10 years. Yes, it's an investment, but it's actually a trade. It's a 10-year trade that I think Bitcoin will trade higher than the US dollar, or trade higher than the stock market, for example, if you're comparing opportunity cost. So if you're entering an altcoin, instead of viewing it as an indefinite investment, view it as, okay, this is a trade for a month. This is a trade for 3 months. This is maybe a trade for 6 months. By putting a time horizon on it, and you can always extend or shorten the horizon based on invalidations, of course, or validations for a thesis being extended. New information you have to take into account as an investor. But by having time horizons predetermined, you're much less likely to fall into useless bag holding. And that's basically where you just bag hold something without any semblance of like why you're actually holding it. You're just holding it for holding its sake. That won't happen if you actually have the time horizon on the trade clearly defined before the trade. And sometimes time invalidations and validations are just as important, if not more important, as price validations and invalidations. And the final thing, number 5, that you need to be doing if you want to succeed in crypto and build an actual edge is to avoid complacency. This is what's burnt me many times in the past. This point is extremely important. Even if your portfolio is going up massively, you need an awareness of what's happening. Track your portfolio. You can use so many apps. You've got CoinGecko, you've got CoinStats. You can do a custom one using Artemis APIs or DeFi Llama or CoinGecko APIs and Google Sheets. Track your portfolio so you know the value of it, what's outperforming, what's underperforming, which sectors you're more skewed towards. Are you skewed towards large caps, mid caps? Is a low cap now worth 15%? So you need to, weight it differently. Just by being completely aware of your portfolio positioning and whether that's aligned with your goals is so important, because there's been times where I know my portfolio is probably down because I'm seeing the market go down. So I just won't check it because I don't want the pain of checking it. But actually not checking it is making the problem worse, because if I just checked it, I would be able to rebalance. I'd actually be aware of what's going on so I can make changes to protect myself from further downside. And it's the same when the market's going up. People are like, oh, the market's going up. Yay, I'm making money. But actually don't be complacent and just be all happy because the market's going up. Because now you need to look at, all right, what's underperforming? Should I cut those losers and allocate more to my winners? Should I take profits on some of my winners so I have stable coins for the next dip? So when the market's volatile, that's when you need to be doing most of your business. But so many people get complacent, and I'm speaking for myself here because I've done this many times in both directions, but you just need to be aware of what's going on. So that just comes down to portfolio tracking and making it part of your system to regularly track your portfolio. So you can even have something in your morning checklist. I'm just going to review my portfolio. What you can actually do is screenshot your portfolio. Let's say it's on CoinStats, put it into ChatGPT, and you might need to give it some extra data if it's missing some data on prices. It can break down the mid cap, small cap, and large cap risk and whether it's aligned with your goals. So you can have a dedicated chat for this. Just put screenshots in every day, have your predetermined goals, and it can spot red flags for you. Hey, watch this position. It's now 12%. You said your max rule was 10%, so maybe consider weighting down. Then you can make an informed decision. You might just want to ride it, or there might be a tax reason you don't want to sell, or there can be reasons to break your rules, but just be aware of them. I think that's just the main thing, actually being aware of your actions and what's going on. I don't think you need to treat crypto like a full-time job to succeed. As I said, you can have a different cadence if you have less time or more time. But I think the main thing is, if you want outsized returns, you can't treat it like a casino. You have to treat it with the respect it deserves. Give your money respect. Respect the amount of time that it took to make the money that you are now investing. And if you follow these 5 rules, really what it comes down to is actually respecting your own money and respecting yourself enough to do these things to not only protect yourself, but give that money the chance of growing. So I do believe if you just implement these 5 things, you'll become a much better trader and a much better investor. And although it's not a guarantee to make money in the market, at least you're putting yourself in a much better position, not only to potentially make money, but also to grow as an investor, as a trader, and as a person. Once again, if you want an easier way to get the alpha every single day, I recommend checking out the Mars High Club. I'll leave a link in the description below. But fundamentally, the most important thing is that you nail these 5 steps, and hopefully I was able to help you out today. And if you do want more frameworks and strategies like this, I'll leave a link in the description below to my new channel, Crypto Edge, which covers this stuff in even more frequency and depth. See you in the next video. Peace out, guys.